Welcome to Mr. Therapist and the Counselor Podcast. We are your guide to personal recovery, whether you're dealing with an addiction, a mental health issue, or you're just trying to figure life out. We empower your growth through authentic conversations and demystifying the process of therapy. Listen up, come on in, enjoy the show. My name is Manny Romero. This is Jesse O.
This week, time sessions. Here we go.
Please make sure you subscribe to the show and share it if you find some value. Let's do this. All right.
Here we go.
I like how you opened that up last time.
Here we go. It's kind of like a soccer chant a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I stole it from a punk band I used to watch back in the day.
Didn't know you were down with the football.
The football, yeah. I do like the football. Actually, I don't like the football. I like the American football. I wish I can get into that. I wish I can get into like football.
Soccer?
Yeah, soccer. Whenever like the whole what's that world thing they do? World Cup.
Yeah,
the whole world thing. Yeah, when they do that, I'm like, I don't know. People are so into that though.
Yeah.
You're into that.
I love it.
Who do you root for?
Mexico. All the time.
Oh yeah.
We always get eliminated in the first round, but
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's okay. We try.
Viva la raza.
Viva la raza. I had an uncle actually. He passed away, but he would always like be proud of me that I was going to school. He's like, "You're gonna elevate la raza." I was like,
"What does that mean again?"
Like elevate the like the what do you call it? Like the
bro.
race, like the
your people,
the people, yeah,
they rise up. I like that.
The
brown people, yeah. So this week again, time sessions. The clock has already started.
Yep.
All of our jibber jabber, but we attempt to come in here and just like a therapy session, we have limited time to discuss and process things that impacted us or influenced us throughout the week. I wanted to kick it off this week because as I got knee deep in some coconut cream pie,
Ooh.
I turned 46 recently. 46 years old. Yes, I know you guys that do watch this on YouTube, you'll look at me and I guess it's more wrinkly skin nowadays, but you'll say that man, it does not seem like he's 46 years old.
No, you don't actually.
I'm aging pretty decently.
You are, yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, and you're like, you got a young heart. I think that's what matters.
What's up with that?
What is up with that? You tell me about that.
It's always interesting is when people say like you don't dress your age. You haven't gotten that yet, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
What does that mean when you tell someone that you don't dress their age?
I feel like I would take that as like a not compliment.
Right, that's not.
Yeah,
that's a bit of put down.
Yeah.
I think it's so going back to me like turning 46, like once again I'm trying to like figure out what it means to be 46. Like who am I supposed to be? Like even something like that. Like nobody said that to me in quite a while. I guess I've had some people suggest like, well, you don't act like you're 46 years old, and I'm just like, that's also seems like an insult to me as well. But it's once again, yeah, it's one thing to like, I guess if it's like, wow, you look really good for your age, they're complimenting your actual like your facial like, look, right? Yeah. But the other things like I
never got that right.
No, not at all. I used to joke when people, because I had a bit of a drug problem with opiates at one point in time. I'd heard that like opiates mummify you a little bit. So I'd always say yes. I was
like make you older.
No, they keep you like mummify.
Yeah,
like they preserve you.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, it's probably because I did a shit ton of opiates for like a good like 12-year period. So
that's probably why.
Yeah. So I don't know if I want to chalk it up to that anymore. But back to like what I initially spoke of, like I turned 46 and I reflected how last year at this time when I turned 45, it was a real shift for me. I really struggled with this kind of midlife point. I guess some people would suggest a midlife crisis. But in midlife, would that be 50? I guess it wouldn't be though, right? Am I going to get it to 90 years old?
What's a midlife crisis?
I'll tell you.
I don't think the age matters, right? I think it's just what you go, like your experience.
There was once a saying that said age is just a number until you get up in age. And then you go, holy shit, it's more than just a number. It's a feeling. Yeah. So,
but that's the midlife crisis, the feeling of like sort of like, fuck, like I'm getting older, like I'm older today.
So the real shift for me last year was when I turned 45. I just had my first kid. which I was a little late to the game on that. I finally figured out what sex meant and what you could do with it. But
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a late bloomer. As once you've referred to me as the 40-year-old virgin here on this podcast, I believe.
I did. You're talking about action figures over here.
You said action figures.
Oh, dang.
You didn't say a doll, dude.
You're training me.
You're
Nice.
growing,
Thank
man.
you.
I love it.
Not a Barbie.
So I turned 45 last year. I was a new father, and there's a real shift for me. Is that like, not that in the last few years, I wouldn't say like birthdays. I don't like party and like celebrate. Like, I don't do these big extravaganzas for my birthday. But I turned 45. It was just a new role for me in my life, and I felt like all my focus has been on my daughter since she's been born. Like, I think everything evolves around her, and that includes like losing parts of myself. So the idea that I was a father, like, that's the number one thing for me in my life, not right now. It was just I think I lost my identity a little bit. And as I'm getting older, I felt like I've always, back to kind of like the idea of just being young at heart, I'm starting to feel not so much that anymore. I still feel like I do. I am youthful. I think I do present that way, and I feel that way. But at the same time, though, I look at myself in the mirror, and I do see the wrinkles now, and I see the gray hairs. Like, so when I turned 45 last year, yeah, it was a real shift for me, and I really struggled with it. And I would say, like, this last year, like, I've gone through bouts of depression with just trying to like settle in like who I am now, the person I am today. I've kind of like looked at my life in different chapters. Yeah. My hope always one day is like, to write like a book, and like this was like a brand new chapter for me. Like, Jesse at 45, what does that look like? How am I supposed to be? My relationships, like, there is a maturity, but there's still like a lot of growth that needs to be done. So turning 45, turning 46 was, I don't know if I've somewhat like figured it out, and I don't have the answer of like how I got through the last year, but there was a lot of growth in the last year with just like the different feelings of just being, as we get older and we change. Yeah. So
do you feel like when did you first start noticing that like age mattered to you?
I potentially,
has it always mattered?
I don't think it's always mattered. No, I don't think it has always mattered. I think that I maybe some of it was probably just, unfortunately, like the look, like who I see myself as differently.
You
like,
started noticing.
Yeah, I think like, even like I said, the gray hairs to me was like a couple were okay, and I'm not a woman, so as a man though, I think men get a pass more than women when it comes to like aging and like gray hairs. Got the silver fox. Like, a woman's like, it's unfortunately a lot of times like we'll base them on
right,
looks, and it's like, well, men getting older, it's just like, this is a great look, it's a mature look, right. So but it was just like, I'm getting more and more gray hairs, and I'm just like, this is, unfortunately it was all like this. It was all the look of it, which sucks that it like is based so much on like how I saw myself, not how I felt. Yeah. And I guess maybe there was a fear of like, what do people see me now as? Like, I'm not this young man anymore. And I was trying to embrace the role, but I still struggled with it a lot. So
I wonder, like, why do you think that matters? Like, when you look in the mirror, you're like, oh man, I'm not this young man anymore. People don't see that. Like, what? Is there like a, like, what does that like symbolize to you?
That I'm falling off.
Yeah.
I'm not as quick as I was. I'm not like, I'm just not.
I'm falling, like, you're getting closer to dying, or
no, I would say like, just more. Maybe I'm not as skilled, as talented. I know we've talked about like wisdom. Comes age, comes wisdom, right? I think we had this conversation like a while back. I don't remember when it was, but the frame of reference doesn't matter. But yes, there is that aspect to it. But I think there's something that we've talked about too, is just the idea of ageism, like where when you do get older, it's kind of like you are. Is it less than in some ways? Do you ever feel that way?
I don't. Like,
you don't feel that way?
No, I don't. And I feel like I've always had this appreciation, or I've always felt different like this, because I'm surrounded by a lot of people that worry about their age, and I'm 33, So I'm relatively young, right? And
Wait,
I
you're
look
33?
18. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but I feel like I'm young, but like to me what matters is like how I feel.
Yeah.
And so that hasn't changed for me. Like I still feel very young. I feel like I have a lot of like maturity to 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 still learn and grow and develop. But I mean, I feel like I'm like the only one that feels that way because I get surrounded by 30-year-olds who talk about how old they are.
Okay, so you do hear that a lot. So when you
Yeah.
turned 30, there wasn't a shift at all. Like when you
No.
got to your dirty 30.
In my dirty 30s, I did not get dirtier. No.
So what is the feedback you do get from people that have hit 30 that's different from
Yeah,
you?
I mean, it's just like I'm older, and I don't understand it too much because that's why I asked you. I was like, I wonder if people are worried about dying,
Yeah.
or like you said something about like I'm falling off, like I'm not as valuable. You think, and this conversation matters because I know a lot of people can go through a spiral with age, right? As they get older, like you said, people have a midlife crisis. They want to feel young again. But I think a part of that is, I don't know, like practicing play. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you get too old to play or to have fun or to enjoy yourself. But I'm looking at it from a separate. I feel like I'm separate. I can't connect with that idea of like, man, I'm getting older. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm falling off. But I feel like with every year I get wiser. I get like more valuable. But I don't know. It's kind of strange.
At the end of the day, I know that it's with any conversation we have, it's always somebody's perception on
Yeah.
things. I think even like in the last year, there were moments of like me wanting to like just do things that were like fun, but I feel like it's met with more criticism. I just think from general public, my relationships, people like this last year, I got like remember I did the mullet haircut,
Yeah.
which was like super in. And may I say that like I saw the mullet. I mean, we've all seen a mullet haircut, and it was like a real popular trend. But
It looked good.
Thanks, man. I thought it looked good, and I was like, I could rock that. I could pull that off. I mean, professional setting, I didn't really get any like flack for like having that haircut, but I remember like some consensus of just like, you're not you're not a celebrity. Like you can't like wear that, like where it's like you're just this 40. Nobody said this specifically, but it was like you're just some 45-year-old guy who's
Yeah.
getting like a younger haircut.
Yeah.
I'm like, why can't I do that? But we've all seen people before. Maybe you haven't, but I've seen where somebody's like trying too hard
Yeah.
to like not act their age. Like and maybe you're seeking like validation through things, and like
Right.
the haircut for me was just like it looked cool. I was like,
Yeah.
it's like it looks cool.
Like Blue from Old School. You're my boy, Blue.
I'm basically Blue right now. Yeah, no, but like I thought to myself, yeah, I didn't do it. Like I did it because I just thought it looked cool. Like
Yeah.
and 10 years ago, if I dyed my hair, like if I bleached it blonde, like it would have been I don't think it would have been a big deal. Like
Yeah.
especially in my 20s, it'd been like you're experimenting, you're playing around with things, but like
Yeah.
it's met with more criticism because I'm challenging like what a 45-year-old man, 46-year-old man looks like, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and I think I see the thing is, as much as like somebody might have given me like negative feedback for doing that,
Yeah.
I've been judgmental for people doing it as well. So I guess it's kind of like, now that we're here, I get it. Like I think that it's people are faced with ageism. Like they're put in a box. It's like you're not allowed to do certain things anymore.
Yeah.
Not once again, this is like not everybody feels this way, but there's still like there is that. I mean, growing up, I mean, I don't know. We thought people were. I used to think people were a lot older than they were. They couldn't do anything. But once again, I had a youthful perspective, and I didn't know shit. Let's just be straight up. So and I was also much more judgmental and also much more insecure and confused. So
I go back to this idea of like, as you start to feel some of these judgments on your age and the things you're doing and if it fits your age, I just feel like those are like negative messages or like you know what I mean, messages that are like self-critical. And I'm wondering like is there I almost want to say like you should create a culture that celebrates your age, or like, you know what I mean? Like, is there any ways like that you can practice that for yourself, or even having a conversation with like the people who are important to you, who add to that narrative, even if it's like without, well, you know, maybe they don't even realize how it's affecting you, right? But like this idea of like, dude, like, can we just like back off on the age thing? You know, like I want to celebrate that I'm getting older and I'm getting wiser. I think it's how you're viewing it too. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, shoot, I might feel that when I turn 40, right? Like but it's something I feel like sounds like a little bit driven by the environment, right? The people who are reinforcing this for you, I guess.
I think a part of it probably too is that, like I said, at one point in time in my life, like being older was not. I was like, oh man, like old man, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, I just didn't really. I had such a broad view on things, and I wasn't very open minded.
True.
And now, of course, now I'm older. I'm like, oh, I see it. Old people are great. You know, like it's just, but it's I.
You had like written them off at one point, like, oh, they're just old. Yeah, and yeah.
Now I'm part of that batch. I'm kind of like, give us a chance. We're not too bad. So it's just, I think a big part of it too is just the unknown. Once again, like this is a new stage in my life, new role, like just a lot of like, just as a lot of things that when something's new and changing in my life, there's just that self-doubt of like, how do I commit to this now? How can I be this? Yeah. So just, it's another new role in my life, but I don't see it as like, I see it as a challenge. Yeah. But initially that challenge was very scary to me. Yeah. And so I was, I had to like go through the whole process, and felt like it almost took like a year. But like when I turned 46 this year, like I had some people check in on me and be like, how was this year? How was this birthday? And I'm like, it was good. Yeah. Like I wasn't like in this like deep, dark place. This time I was kind of like, I was like, it was cool. Like I'm more accepting of it. I'm okay. I let the gray hairs go out. Yeah. Like there's still like adjustments, but like I am a father now, but that's not what I'm other things as well. I'm Jesse at 46, and I still don't know what that is because I just turned 46, but getting better as I want to do for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Something that I do feel around like age and time is whenever I think about like how old Mia is, and like how my oldest, she's 4 now, she's gonna be 5, and like every year that passes by, I get
wow, that she's almost 5 anyways.
Yeah, and I get really like anxious about that or nervous about that, because I think it has to do with me not I struggle to be present, and so like the years go by quick, and I'm like, I get nervous about like, I gotta capture those moments. I really gotta be in these moments. And so I think when you're talking, I can really relate to that aspect of it. That's kind of something I like just connected with, I guess, as you were talking.
As you were just talking right now, I thought of the great Marshall Mathers. There was as he's getting older, as we're all getting older, right? Can't stop that. There's a rap lyric. He says something, and I'm not going to say it exactly, but he mentioned he'll be sagging his pants until he's in his 40s, and I always remember that line so much because it's just like, I know as much as I've talked about how like my facial features and how I see myself in the mirror play such a big role, but I know like I still have like this youthful like soul, and I still like I have that, and I will continue to fight and kick and scream or whatever it takes to like be heard, to be seen, whatever age I am, until like my body gives out, type of thing. But as time sessions always go, we're out of time.
It's hard time.
Maybe Father Time's coming for me right now. But it's another session in the can. Thanks again, my friend.
For sure.